Oh man, what's up, y'all? What's up to all my fellow explorers? Welcome back to my channel. What's up, all my fellow explorers of the vibrant mind? I'm your behavioral coach, Justin Fails, and I'm here to help you ground that spiritual wisdom into your everyday behavior. So check me out. Now, let me tell you something, y'all. Okay? I've been sitting here with this topic for a while because we've all gone through it, man. You know what I'm saying? And Lord knows, it's the one that's gonna shake a couple tables today. And that's what I'm here to do. Shake some tables. Some foundational things in your life. So we about to dive into something very deep that's been keeping folks stuck for generations, y'all. What's that, you may ask? Thank you for asking. It's the fear of rejection, man. This is a very important topic, as I always say, because the topics are important. But here's the thing. What if I told you that rejection ain't the enemy that you thought it was in the first place? What if I told you that every no you've ever received was actually the universe's way of saying, not yet, baby. We got something brewing for you. This ain't the one. This ain't the time. There's something better. See, I come from a small town in Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, y'all, where my grandma used to say, baby, when one door closed, God's got three more opening. You just got to have the eyes to see them. And y'all, that woman was spitting pure vibrational truth without even knowing there was actual science behind what she was saying. You feel me? So today we're going to break down how rejection is really simply just redirection. A cosmic GPS recalibrating your route to get you exactly where you need to be. See, we always want something, but we don't realize there's things we need to get what we want, to maintain what we want, to be good stewards of what we want. There's things we need to go through first. Okay? So we're going to be pulling from psychologists. In my field, we do behavioral analysis, spiritual wisdom, and we're going to use a little bit of that occult knowledge just to show you how to flip that script in your mind when it comes to rejection. So grab your notebooks, settle in, and let's get into this work together forever. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna start off with the psychology of rejection, y'all. And why does it hurt so bad when you get rejected, y'all? Now let's start with real talk. Rejection hurts like hell, y'all. And there's actual science behind why it feels like somebody took a sledgehammer in your chest, man. Like a sledgehammer to the chest when you get rejected. You feel it. Your whole body sinks in. Dr. Naomi Eisenberger's research at UCLA showed us that when we experience rejection, the same parts of our brain lights up as when we experience physical pain. Come on, y'all. That's incredible. That interior cortex of our vertebral prefrontal cortex starts firing it up. That cortex in the front of our mind, y'all, starts firing up like the 4th of July fireworks, sending pain signals throughout our whole system. It's like your brain can't tell the difference between somebody breaking your heart and somebody breaking your arm. There's some deep programming right there, family. I'm trying to tell y'all. Something deep going on. So that's what we diving into. Like that emotional feel. Why is the emotional feel as impactful as something physically happening to you? How are they intertwined? That's what rejection feels like. It feels like something happened to you physically. Okay? So from an evolutionary standpoint, our ancestors needed their tribes to survive. Getting rejected from the group literally meant death. So our brains developed this rejection detection system that's more sensitive than a smoke alarm in a kitchen full of church ladies cooking Sunday dinner. Okay? But here's where it gets interesting. This is where it starts bridging into the spiritual realm, y'all. You know I love to talk about the spiritual because we have to connect the two. We have to connect heaven with earth. That's why I'm here, to be a bridge for y'all guys. Okay? And laddie and gals. You feel me? So, that pain you feel, that's not just your neural system firing off. in behavioral terms, what we're experiencing, it was B.F. Skinner would call punishment. Whoa. Our brain is trying to condition us to avoid situations that might lead to rejection. So if you ever studied in the behavior field, B.F. Skinner would be essentially the godfather of applied behavior analysis, a major field to help children with autism right now. So, but you can learn a lot. So just throwing that name out there if you ever want to go look into it. But here's the plot twist that most folks miss. So your brain is operating on an outdated software. We can get outdated with our approaches and our beliefs because we're wanting to grow into something, but the software we're actually exhibiting is outdated. It's still running on survival mode when you're living in abundance mode, or you should be living in abundance mode. You should be recognizing and acknowledging the abundance all around you. You are an abundant being. It's like trying to run the latest apps on a flip phone, y'all. See, look, that ain't gonna work, ain't it? You trying to run Call of Duty on a flip phone. Come on. Now, I'm sure there's some hackers or something out there that might can do stuff like that. But we speaking in general, so, all right? But here's the plot twist that most folks miss, y'all. Your brain is operating on outdated software, and your body is the hardware. So what we have to do is we have to align the two. Think about it like this. You know when you're driving down the highway and your GPS says recalculating the route, because you might have missed the turn. I know when we used to live in Texas, man, one missed turn could lead you on a 30-minute additional drive. So you don't want to miss no turns. But what if you didn't miss the turn, but it started recalculating? That's not because you messed up. That's because the GPS might have found a better path. Maybe one with less traffic, or it's avoiding an accident. Maybe one with better scenery. That's exactly what rejection is doing in your life. Rejection is redirecting. And why? Because when you tuned in and tapped into yourself, y'all, you're going to go the route that's best for you. See, your subconscious mind that's running about 95% of your daily operations, according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, is constantly scanning for threats. But what it's really doing is scanning for misalignments. When you get rejected, your higher self is saying, hold on, baby, this ain't it. We got something better for you waiting. Okay? And it took me a minute to really apply this concept. That's why I'm able to teach it now. But I'm telling you, y'all, this is real, y'all. It's real. Rejection ain't a thing to me no more. And I'm trying to get you there. Because every time you get rejected, you're like, oh, okay. You can shrug it off, literally. You can get to the place where you shrug it off. Oh, okay, that wasn't it for me. That wasn't meant for me. There's something else on the way. Or there's a thing I need to learn. I'm getting rejected because there's something I need to learn in this moment. I can't even get to the other side yet without learning what's necessary to learn. All right? So that's where we're going to jump into the vibrational misalignment, the spiritual science, y'all. All right? Now we're getting into the good stuff, or should I say gooder stuff, because it's all good. Let's talk about what's really happening on an energetic level when rejection shows up in your life. And quantum physics, and stay with me here, because this is where science meets the spiritual. And that's what I love to bring the two together. People act like they separate things. They really not. But anywho, everything is energetic, y'all. It's energy vibrating at different frequencies. Dr. David Hawkins mapped out these frequencies in his research on a consciousness level. He showed us that emotions like shame vibrate at 20 hertz, while love vibrates at 500 hertz, and enlightenment at 700 to 1,000 hertz, y'all. So if you know anything about computers or phone chips or anything, they have what's called a processor built into them to handle and manage the processes of the system. And the better your processor, the more it can handle at once, the faster it can go. So that's all that's happening here is you're upgrading. You're not even upgrading. You're just aligning yourself to the processor that's relevant to you. So if you're in a state of love, that's what's relevant, and you will experience already that 500 hertz of energy. It's a beautiful place to be. Now, when you're trying to manifest something, whether it's a job, it's a relationship, an opportunity, you're essentially trying to match your vibration to the vibration of what you actually want. That's what you're attempting to do. But here's the thing. If you're not vibrationally aligned with what you're asking for, the universe can't even deliver it to you. It's like trying to tune in to 101.5 FM when you're broadcasting on the AM radio. The signals just ain't gonna match up, y'all. Let me break this down with a story that hits close to home. So, I have a cousin, man. Gonna keep names under wrap. You know what I'm saying? Bless his heart. Spent some years applying for the school. Got rejected every single time. Devastated. You know what I'm saying? Talk about he wasn't smart enough. He thought he wasn't smart enough. He thought he wasn't good enough. But you know what was really happening the whole time? What? Let me tell you. Thank you for asking. Hold on, y'all. Let me drink some of this water. You know what I'm saying? All that was happening, though, the whole time, y'all. He was being molded. But his energy was all wrong. He was applying for schools because his mama wanted him to be whatever she wanted him to be. Not because his soul was calling him to practice or go get that degree. Every rejection was the universe saying, baby, this ain't your path. We got something else for you. A couple years later, started up on venture that was helping people integrate back into society. Okay? Now, he's changing more lives than ever, especially with the path he was going at first. And he's doing it from a place of being his authentic self. That's a vibrational alignment in action, in manifestation. Okay? In the occult tradition, and don't let that word scare you, it just means hidden knowledge or secret knowledge. Practitioners understand that resistance is information, y'all. When you cast a spell or set an intention and it doesn't manifest, you don't just assume, I'm powerless. I don't have no power. There's nothing I could do. That ain't the assumption. You assume you need to adjust your approach. Okay? The Hebrew concept of Bashert teaches us that what's meant for you will actually never, ever, ever, ever pass you by. If it's meant for you, it will never, ever, ever, ever pass you by. But here's the kicker. What's meant for you can only come to you when you're vibrationally ready to receive it. Like, for instance, I see a lot of people ask for millions of dollars or they want to be really rich right now. But let's be honest. Can you manage $1,000? Could you make it stretch and last right now? Or $500? So imagine $1 million. Maybe you need to learn you need to learn how to manage 500 or 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 before you actually realize your potential of receiving that abundance of $1 million. But if you get that $1 million right now, what happens when it just drains out? Because you didn't have the management skills, the stewardship. So you have to go through certain things in order to prepare you. Okay? In Buddhism, they talk about right timing. That's the idea that everything happens when it's supposed to happen, not when you want it to happen. That rejection you experienced last month or yesterday, last night, that was right timing, protecting you from something that would have taken you off your path. The Yoruba tradition speaks of Ori, your higher self that chooses your destination before you even got here in the first place. Your Ori is constantly guiding you toward your highest good, even when it feels like everything is falling apart, y'all. Sometimes that guidance comes in the form of a closed door, a rejected letter. You can't get into school. You can't get that man, that woman, because your Ori knows there is a better door waiting for you. All right, now let's jump into the behavioral science of it, y'all. You know what I'm saying? What we do over here, you know what I'm saying? Your behavior coach gonna put you on game. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts of how this redirection actually works in your behavior patterns, okay? In ABA, we have this concept called extinction burst, y'all. When the behavior stops getting reinforced, it actually gets worse before it gets better. Think about it like this. If you've been knocking on the door and nobody answering that door, you don't just knock once and walk away. You knocking harder, like, hold on. You knock longer, like, hold on. You might even start banging on the door. Like, hold on, man. I know you in there. I seen somebody through the window. I know you in there. That's what your brain does when you face rejection. It creates what's called an extinction burst. You start trying harder, pushing more, forcing things that ain't even meant to be forced. But that's actually your nervous system fighting against the natural flow of redirection. Now we have to build up this tolerance. Okay? So, the healthier response is what we call behavior flexibility, y'all. That's your ability to adapt your approach when the current strategy ain't working. Why you keep doing the same thing if it ain't working? You must really like the results of what you're getting if you always act the way you do and get the result you do, and then you be confused why you got the result. Maybe you ain't tired enough of that result. It's like my grandpa used to say, if you can't get through the door, try the window. If the window's locked, check that back door. If all the doors are locked, maybe you need to build your own goddamn door. Okay? See, Dr. Stephen Hayes, Acceptance and Commitment Therapy, or ACT, not the ACT that you take at school and stuff, we ain't talk about that. But the Acceptance and Commitment Therapy teaches us about psychological flexibility, your ability to stay present with difficult emotions while still moving forward or towards your values and integrity. When rejection hits us, instead of getting stuck in that pain that you feel, you can use it as information to actually redirect your energy. Okay, here's a practical example. Let's say you apply for a job that you really wanted and you got rejected from that job. That old behavioral pattern is to instantly go into, man, I'm not good enough, man. I'll never get hired at that job, man. Maybe I should just give up. That's what psychologists call rumination. Your brain getting stuck in a negative feedback loop. Imagine that. You getting stuck in a loop. This stuff is science and spiritual, y'all. That's all this is, man. You just have to understand what's happening with you. Once you understand what's happening with you, you can get a grip on it. Once you understand that you hit the gas and the car can go, you got this wheel to, now you can get a grip of your life and start going in the direction you choose to go. Okay? But if you understand rejection as redirection, guess what's going to happen? Your behavioral responses also will change. Instead of ruminating, you start investigating. What can this rejection teach us? What skills do I need to develop? What kind of company will be better fit for my values? Okay? So this is what we call approach behavior versus avoidance behavior. We're not avoiding nothing. We running into our destiny. What you mean we running away from who? Why are we running away from who we really are or what we are in this moment? I want to know exactly who I am or what I'm putting out in the world or what my mirror reflecting back to me. Why? Because that's going to be evident and true for that moment. And if I like it, I'm going to continue to do what I do. If I don't like it, guess what? It's just a redirection. I have to just go ahead and slide and do a different move. I have to become a different person. I'm cool with it. I already understand how it goes. I already understand how it works. Now it's your chance to. Okay? So, when you see rejection as redirection, you move towards your growth instead of away from opportunity, y'all. In neuroscience, we know that the brain has neuroplasticity. It can literally rewire itself based on your thoughts and your behaviors. Every time you choose to see rejection as redirection, you're strengthening the neural pathways that supports resiliency and adaptability, y'all. Dr. Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset shows us that people who view challenges as opportunities for growth are more likely to persist through difficulties and ultimately achieve their goals. That's not just positive thinking. Because I know there's a whole idea of people that only think positive. Somehow people that think positive, people make that a negative thing. But this ain't that. This ain't even that. This ain't about positive thinking. This is literally rewiring your brain for success. Okay? So now we're going to talk about some practical things that you can apply in the real world. What I say we're going to do? We're going to bridge heaven to earth. Because why know this stuff if you can't even apply it in your real life? It ain't just fancy words. This is stuff that work. This is researchable. Okay? So let me give you a couple analogies that will help you remember this when life gets real and rejection comes knocking on your door. We're going to use that GPS analogy, y'all. So guess what? You're driving to your destination. Suddenly your GPS say, turn right in 100 feet. But you missed the turn because you were jamming on your music. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We human. Does the GPS just give up on you in that moment? Does it say, well, I guess you're not getting enough? Hell no, y'all. What it say? It say we recalculating this route and find you another way to get there. That's exactly what the universe does when you get rejected. It recalculates your route to get you where you need to be or where you oughta be. Okay? So we're going to use another one. This is the river. Think of a river. Picture a river flowing towards the ocean. Okay? When the river encounters a big rock, does it stop flowing? There's a rock in the middle of the river. Does it stop flowing, y'all? Nah. Does it give up and start going backwards and retreating and avoiding? Nah, baby. It flows around that junk. It flows around the rock. It might take a little bit longer to get where it's going, but it's ultimately going to get to where it needs to go. And you know what? That detour around the rock might lead through more beautiful scenery. Your rejections are just rocks in your river. Okay? They don't stop your flow. They just redirect them. Learn your pace. Learn your flow. Learn how to ride the waves of life. Your wave. Because everybody's wave is different. Alright, when you plant a seed in the wrong soil, it don't grow. But that don't mean that seed broken. It just means the conditions ain't right. Sometimes rejection is the universe's way of saying, baby, you're trying to plant your dreams all in the wrong soil. Let me show you where the good ground is, where you need to plant this, where you need to be, where you need to focus on, what you need to focus on in this moment. Your seed ain't broken. You are a seed that I put here. You aren't broken. You just need to be in the right place at the right time. So I'm getting you there, but you have to listen. That's what God is saying to you. That's what the universe is saying to you, all right? So, another analogy, y'all. You ever tried to open your door with the wrong key? No matter how hard you put that thing in, how much you want to open that door, it just ain't happening. But that doesn't mean you don't have the right key. You just haven't found the right door yet. Bars. Oh my God, did he just say that? That don't mean you don't have the right key. You just ain't found the right door yet. Oh my God. Crack myself up sometimes, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. Every rejection is just confirmation that you're standing at the wrong door. That's all. It's just the wrong door. That's all. Keep walking until you find the one that your key opens effortlessly. Shouldn't be no effort when you walk through the door. If it's the right key. If it's the right move for you. Okay? Now, if you're trying to tune into your favorite station, but you getting all that static and stuff, you don't throw that whole radio away. Like, man, this radio broke. Let me just throw this thing out my car. You're in the middle of the highway. You just throw that joint out. No, you just adjust the dial until you get clear reception. Rejection is just static, y'all. It's feedback that you need to adjust your frequency to align with what you're trying to receive. Now, this is how you can apply all this knowledge in your actual life, y'all. All right, we got something called the 24-hour rule. When rejection hits, give yourself 24 hours to feel your emotions, y'all. Cry, cuss, go get some ice cream, whatever you need to do. But after 24 hours, you shift into redirect mode. Ask yourself, what is this rejection trying to teach me? And go from there. Then we got the 3 questions method. Every time you face rejection, ask yourself 3 things. What assumptions was I making? What can I learn from this experience, and how can I use this information to improve my approach? Stop being so attached to the results, y'all. Focus on the process. It's all about the process. It's all about the process. Go listen to Miley Cyrus, y'all. The Climb. It speaks on this. It ain't about getting to the top of the mountain. What is it about? It's about the climb. It's about the journey. That's the fun part. Okay? And then we have the third application that you can try. The gratitude flip. Instead of focusing on what you didn't get, don't focus on what you didn't get. Focus on what you're being protected from. Sometimes rejection saves you from situations that would have been wrong for you in the first place. You've been protected, not rejected. You've been redirected, not rejected. Stop using that word, man. All right, so now let's tap into the spiritual alchemy of this transformation, y'all. Now we're getting into the deep magic, my family. This is where psychology meets mysticism, where behavioral science meets ancient wisdom. There's always correlations, and I try to pull out these correlations so I can give them to y'all. You feel me? In alchemy, there's a process called solva cogula, dissolve and coagulate. Okay, you break something down so you can build it back up in a higher form. That's exactly what rejection does in your life. It dissolves your old patterns so you can tap into or coagulate into your higher self. The Kabbalist tradition teaches about breaking the vessel. Sometimes things have to fall apart. They got to fall apart, y'all, so that divine light can reorganize them in a more perfect way for this point in time in your life. Your rejections are vessel breaking moments, clearing space for more clean energy, more clean vibrations, more aligned opportunities, something better to emerge in your life. Okay? In Christianity, we're told that all things work together for good for those who love God. That includes your rejections, your disappointments, your closed doors, all of those. They're all part of a divine orchestration. Life is a musical that you can't see from your limited perspective. Don't worry about it. If it's on your heart to go find out more of an answer, go on that path. But otherwise, don't worry about it. All right, the Islamic concept of tawakkul teaches us to trust in Allah's plan while taking action. When you get rejected, you trust that Allah knows better than you do for what's good for you. And you keep taking inspired action towards your goals. That's what they do in the Islamic faith, okay? In Hinduism, the law of karma teaches us that every experience is perfectly designed for our soul's evolution. Your rejections aren't punishments, they're curriculums. Okay, let's keep going. They're lessons your soul signed up for to help you grow into what you're meant to become. What you're meant to become. All of it is for what you're meant to become. The Cherokees have a saying, when you pray, move your feet. This means don't just sit around waiting for miracles to happen. You keep on moving, keep trying, keep growing. But you also trust that the Great Spirit is guiding your steps, even when that path seems a little bit unclear or daunting. All right, y'all? So, here's what I need y'all to understand, family. Every rejection you've ever experienced was a redirection. Say it with me. Rejection is redirection. Simply put, nothing more. Stop being afraid of rejection. It's time to get over rejection. Get through, overcome rejection. Every closed door was protection. Every no was the universe's way of saying, not yet. We got something better coming. Your job isn't to avoid rejection. We can't live a life of fear like that, y'all. Your job is to reframe it. Your job is to trust the process, even when you can't see the destination. Your job is to stay open to all of the magical redirections that's going to take place in your life going forward. I want you to try something this week. Think about a recent rejection you experienced, y'all. Maybe it was a credit card you applied for, a crib you applied for, a school you was trying to get in, a female you was trying to holler at. Now, instead of seeing it as a failure, I want you to see it as a divine intervention. What might that rejection have been protecting you from? what might it be redirecting you towards? Okay, write that down. When you write it down, start to meditate on it. And when you start to meditate on it, pray about it and ask your higher self, ask God to show you the bigger picture. Now, I guarantee you'll start seeing patterns you never noticed before. And that's why I study behavior, man. It's a very interesting field to me. Okay. And remember, you're not just being rejected, you're being selected. Selected for something better, something more aligned with your highest good. Stop looking at other people and what they got going on. We're talking about you here, all right? Something that matches the frequency of what you're becoming, okay? If this message resonate with you, hit that like button, that heart button, subscribe to my channel, and drop a comment telling me about a time when you were rejected and it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to you. Let's build a community of people who understand that every no is just a yes in disguise. All right. Until next time, keep exploring that vibrant mind of yours. And remember, you are exactly where you need to be, even when it don't feel like it. Now, to peace, love, and infinite possibilities. Hey, I have a brand new journal that I just released. Check the description below. Click that link. Go purchase that joint. It's called the Grounded Growth Journal. And I promise you, it's full of value for the price. Go get that joint, read it, write in it, do your thing, and tell me how you feel. And I swear that you will get the most valuable information you've gotten all year from a 65-page book. All right. Keep exploring your vibrant mind.